Have you ever used the computers in the house?
No.
Ever?
No, I don't use the computers in the house.
Okay. We've had to seize them under warrant.
Curtis Sagmoen was living in a trailer RV on his parents' farm after he got convicted from his condo in Maple Ridge in 2013. Shortly after he got convicted, there were 2 assaults against women on a trail near Curtis's old condo. A witness described a masked man who groped them inappropriately while they were walking down the Trans-Canada Trail. On August 28, neighbors of the Sagmoen farm found a gray Mazda with its engine still running, crashed at the side of the road. There were 2 pink slippers lying on the ground and there were footprints leading away from the car. They called the police and it was quickly found out that the victim was a Craigslist escort, offering sexual favors. The escort told police that she had arrived at the Sagmoen farm the night prior, but since the gate was locked she couldn't get inside. When suddenly a masked man holding a shotgun approached her, the woman quickly got back in her car and drove off. The masked man actually shot at the fleeing vehicle and hit one of the tires, leading to the before-mentioned crash. 1 week after the crime they found Curtis using meth, and 6 weeks later, police charged Curtis Sagmoen in connection with the attack on this escort. He faced charges of disguising his face with intent to commit an offense, pointing a firearm, intentionally discharging a firearm, uttering threats, careless use or storage of a firearm, and finally possessing a weapon for dangerous purpose. On October 21, police received a search warrant for Sagmoen Farm and there they discovered the human remains of Tracy General. The 18-year-old girl was missing for quite some time and had worked as an escort while trying to turn her life around after a history of drug use. Her parents called her a happy and funny person and her mother said, quote, "She was awesome, she was always having fun and always making funny little noises."
I've known her since she was, oh gosh, just about, 10 years old, and my son and I would go to her birthday parties, and she would consider me her Auntie Jen. She chose the wrong direction of life. She just had a lot of hurt and just but she always kept contact with her family and friends, and we'd see her almost every day or every couple days, and then when she went missing, something was wrong.
Upon the discovery of her remains, Curtis Sagmoen was brought in for questioning. If you wonder why Curtis sounds strange during the interview, here is a quick explanation. Court ordered for Curtis's voice to be altered in the public release, however I can't tell you why they made him sound like a demon from the 9th level of hell.
There's a few things going on, Curtis, but you do have a history of...
What? It's called like maybe four escorts in my life, so that's a history.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me that.
Right.
5 minutes ago you were denying having any history.
Right, no, I didn't, like, we talked.
So that's what we're trying to figure out here, Curtis. We're trying to figure out if you're guilty of this. You know, like...
I haven't called any escorts to my house, okay? Or met anyone here for a few years, okay?
I got a few pictures to show you here as well. I wanted to show you this ad. Do you recognize that ad?
No.
After receiving a search warrant for all of Curtis's electronic devices, it was proven that he viewed the exact ad the detective is showing to him right now. Most interestingly, this couldn't necessarily be called a lie in court, because in order to lie about something it requires the person to have knowledge about it. During his trial the defense argued that he may have viewed the ad in the past, however he simply didn't recognize it after several months, so this wasn't proof of him lying.
So one thing that we're going to have to do when we search your phone, we're going to look for any type of application that you may have used that would alter the appearance of a phone number, that kind of thing. Do you ever hear of spoofing? Where if you use your phone to dial another one, but somehow manipulate the phone number to appear differently?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So we're going to be examining your phone for that. Have you ever used that type of application?
Yeah, I'll take the lawyer's advice.
Okay.
I'm just tired right now.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I think you have used one of those applications. And I think you used it when you contacted.
I never threatened anybody and I haven't fired a fire department.
Okay. Did you meet with her that night?
I haven't met anyone. He's had me around my arm for I don't know how long. I don't even know what we talked about it like a half hour ago.
Well, we discussed
Like,
your
I asked, like, if I could rest first here. Okay? I'm tired of begging.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis clearly doesn't understand the situation he is in. He is being charged with dangerously handling a firearm and even potential murder, and he acts like a child that just got woken up by his dad. It is possible that Curtis was coming off meth at the time of his interview, which likely amplified his already pre-existing mental issues. The fact that he is extremely tired, agitated, and quick-tempered is often a dead giveaway, especially regarding his history of drug abuse.
Curtis, is that when she arrived she noticed that the gate is locked. And when she got out of the gate, or when she got out of her car to go unlock the gate, somebody appeared behind her. And he had his face masked, and he was wearing some type of, and she described the male that was holding a gun. He came out of the woods. Now initially the male wasn't pointing the gun at her. He was pointing it up in the air. Here are the fragments inside of the tire. So it means to me that at some point a firearm was discharged. And some of the local residents, they heard a firearm being discharged. People that live on that road.
Mm.
I mean, at the end of the day here, we're not investigating murder, okay? That's not what we're investigating. This escort is fine. She wasn't shot. She was a little scared, but she's not dead.
I haven't discharged the firearm.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't, so.
Okay.
So, well, I'd like to go to bed.
Well, if that's true, we'll find that evidence out. We'll be able to determine that you haven't fired anything. Is there any evidence of anyone else, like any other escorts, that we're going to find out similar information? Have you threatened anyone?
I haven't threatened anyone.
Okay.
So I look like a piece of shit to you.
Yes, you indeed look like a piece of shit to everyone around you.
So I'm trying to keep to myself.
Mm-hmm. I believe you. But something happened somewhere.
I've never seen that girl in my life, so.
Okay. So who would be inviting escorts up to that property? That specific property?
I need to lay down.
Have you ever used the computers in the house?
No,
Ever?
no, I don't use the computers in the house.
Okay. We've had to seize them under warrant. Hey!
Wait! I just don't even in the house!
Sit!
Wait! What about my mom?
We're here to talk about it. You losing your cool is not helping.
I'm sorry, I've been trying. Like, I got.
Put the chair upright.
Sorry. Sorry.
I love how the detective told him to turn the chair back upright, almost like a dad handling a toddler. But this was also necessary to show him that he's not scared and he's still in charge and calling the shots. That detective is the embodiment of having a situation under control, and is never going to an inferior position by showing fear or panic.
Curtis, you're upset right now because of one night in jail. Are you aware of the sentencing for a firearms offense? We're taking this really seriously. The minimum sentence for a firearms offense is 4 years in jail. Do you realize that? How are you going to react if you have to go to jail? We're trying to provide you an opportunity here to get ahead of this and provide your side of the story.
My son had fired a firearm was last year.
Did you meet this girl?
I didn't meet a girl.
He is using vague terminology when answering a question, which is often the mark of a pathological liar. By avoiding a specific answer, they evade the question without any risk of incriminating themselves.
I did not meet a girl.
Did you text her? Truthfully, did you text her?
I texted a girl.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for telling me the truth. You want to shake my hand?
Sure.
Thank you.
But I never fired a firearm.
Okay.
I never threatened anyone. Great story of my life. Can I go back to my room?
You don't want to talk about this girl anymore?
I don't want to talk about anything anymore.
Why, just because you're a phone? You can't.
I can't get to work. I got said I was supposed to go to work without a phone. How am I get to get the phone call to go to work?
Can they call your mom's place?
Like, no, like. And I was gonna go back to my room. There, I told you what you wanted to know. Told you I was embarrassing. Now you want more, like, no.
All what I want to know. I want to know
No, please.
the whole story of what happened.
This whole story of what happened. About what? You said, no, talk to me first. So I talked to you first. Right? We shook hands. But when I asked you, please can I go back to my room? We would.
But what was it we were talking about?
Hi, Curtis. Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
I'm Corporal Kovacs. I work with Rich. Can you give me a couple minutes to talk to you guys?
No,
Just a couple?
no.
Because I've been watching what's been going on here, and so I watch in another room, okay? So,
So yeah, now you two
No,
are
hold
both
on.
gonna have a good laugh at it.
no, not at all.
Yeah, it's just great, thanks.
Curtis, I've heard a lot worse, okay? What I heard today, that I'm not laughing about anything, okay? I understand you live in a rural area. You don't have a lot of people around
I
you.
don't even have a vehicle.
So it makes you very limited on what you can
Right.
do out there.
The reason I don't have a vehicle is because I'm trying to help you guys out. And I got a vehicle inspection because I've been working on my truck. I was missing 3 road nuts. 3 road nuts, and I was on my way to work to pick them up. And my vehicle is still up on jack stands because I can't afford to fix it.
Okay.
And I was doing nothing but cooperative with you guys.
I can't imagine why those detectives would think Curtis was a suspect of those murders and missing girls. After all, he seems so personable and easygoing with no anger issues at all. Putting all the sarcasm aside, if Curtis wanted to seem like a out-of-control and guilty maniac, then he did everything right during the interrogation.
I turn around and I get back. You know? Okay. So, you know what? Okay.
Curtis, you need to calm down a bit, okay?
I'm sorry that I apologize for losing my temper, okay? This is the way I feel.
I understand.
No, I don't. This is it. No.
Okay, Curtis, I can understand why you're upset right now.
Upset?
Yeah. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not even upset yet.
While investigators did find Tracy's remains on the Sagmoen property, Curtis couldn't be linked to the murder without substantial incriminating evidence. Police also began to search for the bodies of 4 other women, who had gone missing in a 50 kilometers or 31 miles radius around the farm. 3 of them had worked as an escort before, and investigators saw a likely connection between the cases. On December 19, 2019, Curtis was sentenced to 24 months in prison. However, since pretrial credit is valued 1.5 times more than the actual time served, he was released on that same day.
Angela, thanks for joining us today. What can you tell us about what happened in court yesterday with Curtis Wayne Sagmoen?
Well, we saw a lot of back and forth with the Crown Prosecutor and the defense attorney. They were clearly making a deal. And what we found out was that they did actually come up with a deal, and that was that he would plead guilty to a lesser charge. He had been charged with assault, aggravated assault, which is an indictable offense, and he pled guilty to simple assault, which is a summary offense. And he then he pled guilty, then he was sentenced to 30 days, which was basically time served, as well as 24 months probation. So.
I know that many of you probably can't believe that he couldn't be charged with murder even though the body was found on his property, but there is an important reason for this. They can't make him a murderer just because a body was on his property. This law exists because that'd mean anybody could dump a body on a neighbor's property and get the neighbor arrested for murder or dump it on anybody's property. In this case, this law sadly protected a potential murderer, but at the end of the day this law protects all of us from a wrongful conviction, and you can't make any exceptions to the law, otherwise it loses its entire meaning and effect. Following his release, he had to follow strict probation rules like not interacting with sex workers, not using the internet, he wasn't allowed to possess weapons, and had to abstain from drugs and alcohol. To this day, Tracy's death has not been linked to anyone, and the other 4 missing women have not been found.